Hey, 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 Steven.
Hey, Kelly.
It's been like 12 hours since I've seen you.
I know. We just got off of a call for Hard Market Heroes, and the agency we were just at was on it. It was kind of amazing. I'm like, I saw you
Oh,
less than 24 hours ago.
I know. I
I
get
know
to
you're on
see
more
you this
trainings.
week
You
and
just
next
can't get
week.
enough.
And Bobby might be joining us. She's having a few technical difficulties, but we wanted to kick off the live. Here she is. I'm going to let her in. Hey, Bobby.
Hi, I'm missing my background, but we're pivoting and I think we have good connection, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a good scenario here today. I'm going to let you guys take the first question that we got. So the
Okay.
first question we got is, what is a reasonable percentage amount increase to trigger a call?
Ooh, 5% more than your average. I think it's a difficult question because it depends on the market, line of business, area you're in. Like there's lots of variables that go in it, but I think what we really need to be looking at is overall what's happening at the agency. And if it's below our average, we need to celebrate that with our clients. But we can't say it's 5% or 10% or 20% or whatever. I get on training calls and there's agents like, all of our policies are going up 8%. And I'm like, poo poo face. And I'm like, oh, wait, let me fix my face. Because I just got off a call with the agency where everything's non renewed or 120% rate increase, right? So I think that there's some give and take, but we have to know what our average is. And then we set it for above average increases.
Eh, or we take the approach of, hey, there isn't one, let's call everybody.
That's my favorite.
Ding, 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 ding.
My
Well,
favorite.
yes, yes, I like that one even better.
I
But
would even say maybe it's like there, as this market changes, it used to be okay, well, maybe certain rates, but I also think if you really could not, like you're in a dire situation, and I'm going to tell you, there are agencies in Florida that are making renewal calls to everybody. There's agencies across this lovely land that are, but if you really could not, I would even say instead of taking an increase, do it by tiers. All the A's get a call, all the
Mhm.
B's get a call, the C's are secondary. I almost like that better than just this arbitrary percentage that just feels like we're picking a number. And even the average, Stephen, well, that might be our average, but how does that resonate with our clients? Is that,
right. No,
what does it look like?
I
Well, and
absolutely
Stephen, I
agree.
actually used your example on one of our sessions the other day, and you mentioned, maybe my VIP client has been getting an incremental rate increase that's been under the threshold, that's now stacked up and added up over the course of time, which really puts them over the threshold if you have a
Mhm.
threshold.
I was also talking to an agency as well that did a lot of non-standard. And I'm like, so you're going to re-spend your time reshopping your non-standard auto book and ignore all of your preferred clients because your non-standard auto is the one that's seeing the largest increase in rate. And they're like, well, we have to save our clients. We have to save our policy count. I'm like, but what about all the people that leave it out the back door?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's funny because the agency I was at today is like, donate them to the competition.
Yes, yes.
let, let it go. Let it go, like Elsa says. So that was a
I
good,
know what captive I would send all my business to at this
maybe
point.
work out a referral fee. I don't know.
Right?
It's a different kind of nonprofit donation program.
Exactly. You're taking this off it's better than a tax break. Um, so one of the questions that came up next, I think, which is a good one, which we do get a lot, which is, do you mention price increase in the review?
Hmm.
And I know I have a feeling on this, so I can either start, or if anybody here has a feeling.
Go. I love it when you have a feeling. So let's
It's so
have you start.
rare. I have a lot of feelings about renewal reviews. I guess that's where all my feelings go.
Yes,
I don't have
yes.
feelings outside of renewal reviews,
All,
maybe.
all my feelings are insurance related, not anything outside of insurance.
I'm on a team here. We're at the last of a 2-year program day, and they're like, what I've heard for you for the past 2 years is we need boundaries. And like, we don't have to say yes to everybody. I'm like, yes. We made progress. So on the renewal review, I think we have to remember that they are going to find the price increase at some point in time. And on my commercial policy, the cover letter from the carrier said your rate went up over 10%, you should call your agent. So the carriers don't always tell things the way that we want them to. So sometimes this is getting out to your client, right? I lean on the idea that if I go to the doctor and they're going to give me news, I don't want to get an email or a letter in the mail, right? That we need to get the confidence to have a conversation with our client about rate. And I think we have to divorce ourselves from emotion of it. And it gets easier the more you do. But I would just say your rate went up X. The market is doing right now, the average rate increase in the state of Rhode Island, or I'm in Michigan right now, is Y. Your rate went up within variance of that. So because of that, we're recommending you stay where you are. And we have the saying in Hard Market Hero, rate cannot be the boss of us. We just have to deliver that confidently, not wishy-washy, no apologies, just your rate is this. This is what has to happen. Let's renew your policy. And I think so often we get ourselves so twisted up about rate that rate becomes the boss of that conversation. We get intimidated by rate, we get fearful, and then we botch that conversation. And what I want to do instead say is, hey, if the rate didn't go up that much, your rate went up below average in the state, that's about X, use a monthly number, and we just roll into what we would do and we don't look back.
Yeah. And I think, my feeling on this is that we're being honest. It's not like they're not going to know the information, right? We're being honest. We're coming from a good place. We're guiding our customer. We are educating them. And the true and honest fact is your rate is either going up or has gone up. And so we just need to be transparent about that and come from a good place and help them build a plan.
Absolutely. And I also think that if we're twisted up about the rate, we're gonna put those fingerprints on the client, right? And get them worked up about it, where it just is what it is.
Yeah.
I was on several calls or trainings today where we talked about confidence, right? Like if I'm confident in having the conversation, or confident in why something's happening, and I can portray that, the client's a lot more likely to believe it. But if I hem and ha, and I'm like, well, maybe let me look into, the client's going to take that as we don't know what we're talking about, and they're going to push harder to get an answer that makes sense to them, or going to want to talk to somebody else.
It's kind of like I tell you guys, right? If an agency has to terminate a team member, we don't beat around the bush, right? Like this person has to go. Not like, well, maybe we can give them another try. What about their dog Fluffy? How is Fluffy going to eat? Like the agency takes on that level, but like my recommendation is my recommendation, and here is why. And I have to deliver that confidently. Otherwise, agencies keep team members that are terrorists on their team.
Well, I think about it like a CPA. Like, my CPA probably doesn't sit there for, 2 hours trying to figure out how they're going to call me to tell me that my taxes are due and how much money I owe. They're going to figure it out. They're going to call me. They're going to tell me what I owe. They don't need to apologize for it.
But it's such a good point, because the accountant doesn't take this personal responsibility like we do in insurance, right? Well, what am I going to do? And he's not sitting there. My accountant's there like, let me try to commit tax fraud to get her, like he's just like,
let me see if I can shop her with another government agency.
He's like, just you got me your shiz late. You have 2 weeks to pay it now. I don't know. Just pay it. I almost want my accountant to be like, is there like a kidney sale program we can get going? Like, how quickly could I sell a kidney to get this party started?
I was teaching an ethics portion of a course, and it's like, what is the agent's responsibility? And it's like to provide protection and coverage, right? So when we go straight for price, we're not honoring ethically what the client needs. We're going straight for the bottom dollar because it's what we think that they want. But is it the ethical thing to do?
No.
And I think we really have to have the conversation with the client to get to the bottom of what their needs are, and then we tailor what they have, and we can feel good about presenting, because it might not be the cheapest, but if it's the best fit for their need, I think we'd be a lot more confident and feel a lot better about what we're offering them.
Absolutely. And a lot of times what I want and what I need are two completely different things. I really want those crumble cookies.
I so wanted donuts yesterday. They looked so good.
What I really need is a salad.
Right.
The worst
I
thing that
didn't
ever
have the
happened in my
donut
life is, like I cut back drinking a lot, but that when I drink, I want every food in front of me. Like people get munchies when they smoke. I get the munchies when I drink, like anything I can find. Well, Crumble Cookie opened up by my house and I can DoorDash them now, which is like a huge, and you can DoorDash 4. Like that's the minimum order. So like, do I
Don't do
need 4
one,
Crumble Cookies in my house? I do not.
but
I
it's
do
cheaper to
not.
get 12, Kelly. It's cheaper to get 12.
I definitely don't need 12 Crumble Cookies in my house. The best thing that could happen is they start doing dog cookies and I can get 2 for my dog and 2 for me. Like it's the best.
Or are we about to get sponsored by Crumble Cookies?
No, we
Yes,
are not.
yes,
No.
we are.
No.
Crumble Cookie, if you're out there at Diva of Insurance, happy to have a conversation.
Weight Watchers, if you're out there, I'll take on that instead because I don't think I need.
Fine. Jenny
I would
Craig,
rather
I'll
have
take you on as
Peloton
well.
sponsor us. Let's get Peloton to sponsor us. But I would say this, you guys have heard me say this. My new thought on explaining rate really is we don't make anything in insurance. We only buy things.
Mm-hmm.
We buy services, we buy parts, we buy materials, we buy compensation for people if they're out on workers' comp. Like we only buy things. And so when the cost of goods goes up to buy, our rates go up to accommodate the cost of things to buy. And I think that resonates with people because it's like, duh, like, okay. And there's a swimming pool of money. And because there's been $18 billion plus storms, the swimming pool is half full. Do you want to get in a half full swimming pool? And because when you're going to do the cannonball, it's going to hurt.
Right.
So I think you have to get good at using analogies with people so they understand. Most people, when they understand what's next. And I think that's what's great about the independent agents. Most of them don't cater to the, state minimum type clientele. They're catering to a higher end clientele. We just haven't caught up with how to explain it to the higher end clientele.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one is, how do you handle monoline accounts and accounts where policy dates do not align with each other to make these beautiful, lovely renewal reviews?
Ooh, review it anyways?
Well, and I think too, we take the primary account, like if it's a flood policy, or, sometimes you have to submit new documentation on flood, but, if it's a motorcycle policy and they have a whole package, let the motorcycle fly, right? Do it on a home or auto. If they have a commercial umbrella, I might not do it in the commercial umbrella, do it in the workers' comp or GL. I'd be looking at the primary policy. And I would say the best time to do anything is right now, because if you, a lot of times, and, Stephen will know, because we did a lot of this at Cross when we were doing renewal reviews over there, but a lot of it is, okay, if I have 20 renewal calls to make and somebody's out, on sick and somebody else is on vacation and we're short staffed, I'm going to look at that week and I might go ahead and do the necessary renewal calls to load ballots. But if it's a normal week and I push off some of these ones that I just could have got done now, I'm going to get my butt kicked, right? So I like to look at it every week at a time. And based on the staffing in the world and the economics and everything else, if you can make the call, make it right now. That's your best bet. Because you don't know what's going to happen, right? I'd rather have some flexibility down the pike and be like, oh, that one was already done, that one was already done, that one was already done. So I can save some bandwidth for those weeks that are difficult.
Yeah.
And in some agencies that are heavy with 6-month auto, when we're starting the process, we also are like, cool, like every other one, right? Like, let's do every other one. And then 6 months from now, we'll do the opposite. So we're kind of balancing the workload. But I do absolutely agree. If we have the capacity or we can get it done now, we just need to do it, because we always find an excuse. We always find something that's more important. We always find something else to occupy our time if we're not focused on that task.
And I think that this is something great that agencies could add into their agency standards to what the primary policy is considered.
Mhm.
Right? That way we're consistent and everybody knows and everybody's aware what that looks like.
Absolutely. And don't worry too much about it. I always say a call is better than no call. So I think sometimes we overthink everything too in insurance. Like, well, but their auto renews a week later. And so if I just wait, I'm like, just do the call right now. The best time to do anything is actually right now. And then you can
Right
get
this minute.
So real quick, as we wrap this up here. What's everybody's favorite part about renewal calls?
Talking to the customer.
When they don't call you.
CYA, cover your agency.
My
I
favorite
love feeling.
form. I love the form, and everyone's so confused at the form in the beginning, but the form is so magical. It lights up, it mirrors, and I love it. I top secretly love it when I go into an agency after like releasing it or a call. And they're like, well, we need to change this because there's all these duplicates. I'm like, you didn't make any renewal calls because you would know if you were using the form that the form magically mirrors itself. So it's not a duplicate. And then I'm like, so how many have you actually made? And then they're like, none yet.
But I filled out 2 forms this one day.
But I printed the form. Like, don't print the form.
They printed the form and wonder why the colors don't change.
Or like, why there's no drop downs and it looks so aggressive. I'm like, it's smart. You just made it a dumb form.
Bobby reminded everybody earlier today that if they printed it out and had it on the desk, it was not going to change colors. It's not that magic. It is not that magic. So please do it on your computer screen.
Us later, right, and be like, "Why does my form not change color on my desk?"
Bobby's answered that. Let's.
I did. I cleared that one up for us.
Mine's not changing color. I have it in my hands. You didn't get the magic decoder ring. That's why. So that's it. So next week is our final standard week of the hard market hero. I can't believe it's gone by so fast. I feel like
really quick.
Really quick. We do have the bonus sections the week after of coastal and fire and how to stop a cancellation. If anybody got that, they're still available if we need them. But next week is all how to handle your remarketing strategy. Because we are going to need to remarket, but we really should have a strategy. It should not be a spray and pray scenario. And I will say my favorite part about this is so many agents are upset about delays in communication with underwriting, right? Things are taking a lot longer. Well, the less rewrites we shoot out into the marketplace, the less we have. So we have to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So we're going to harp next week very heavily on what we call tasteful remarketing.
Yeah. We need to be our carrier's friend right now, and we are not being friends.
Yes, we need elegant remarketing. We need gorgeous, elegant, aging gracefully remarketing.
Completed applications that fit the market with all the information that's needed up front.
Top of stack.
Top of stack submissions.
Top of stack.
That is actually bindable.
Yes. And on personal lines, we need to understand that our time is worth something. And so remarketing out of desperation, I was on with an agency today and they've been making renewal calls and the manager was like, I'm mortified, Kelly. And it was like, what happened? I go, I have 2 people that are shopping the accounts before making the renewal calls and I feel like I've let you down.
Well, you have, but we'll get through it together.
She's like, you have been very explicit with everybody and they are hiding it. And I was like, okay, well, they just need more confidence to talk about rate. And so these are people also very backlogged on their overdue activities. I'm like, I know why, because you're doing work that might not lead anywhere. And so I'm excited about this. Any final words on tasteful remarketing from Bobby or Steven?
Pick up the phone. Make it happen. Just do it.
The damn phone.
Right. Yeah. Have a conversation with your clients. We can't be scared to talk to one another. Communication is going to be so key. And I think that it's the root of all evil is lack of communication.
Well, Crumble Cookie isn't upset about, a freaking $6 or $7 cookie each.
Right.
They're they're not like, I'm sorry, Kelly, that this is going to you're going to have to go work out on the Peloton a little bit more. And it's a $7 cookie. They're like, look at these flavors.
And each cookie is like 4 servings. So when you look at the information, multiply it times 4. Just saying.
The frosting is so
Who
good.
can eat
The
a whole
frosting
cookie?
is amazing. Oh,
Bobby, if I have a couple drinks, I can do anything.
Challenge accepted.
I can eat a whole pizza. I mean, it's like an expandable Kelly comes out. I have to keep up with the alcohol consumption with sugar and carbs at the same time to just completely destroy my insides.
but there you go.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, everyone catch it on next week, how to have your tasteful remarketing strategy and give your team a little encouragement that they don't have to reshop everybody. So thank you, Stephen and Bobby. And I hope everybody
Thanks,
else
Kelly.
has a wonderful evening.
Well, thank
Bye,
you
guys.
so much. See you soon.